addition to, of course, the VFX workers all striking, if you're a fan of the industry or you're an actor entering the industry, you're aware of central casting. Central casting is probably one of the main places a lot of people who are starting acting or interested, or people who are doing background work, one of their main sources of getting jobs. Central Casting has now updated their website. When you log in and register and stuff, they have a clause, and it doesn't allow background actors to sign in without allowing their likenesses to be used in the future. And it's also what SAG-AFTRA, where everybody is saying that studios are planning to eliminate usage of background actors entirely by owning likenesses of actors so they can generate them through AI. We said before, this is one of the ways the studio is trying to circumvent everything going on with the strikes.
And there's also no talks between the actors and the producers. And movies are getting shifted around yet again. Dune is moving to next year, so that movie's not even coming out this year. And a creator who, if you know the YouTube channel Screen Junkies, who makes honest trailers, one of the guys who used to work on that or still works on it, Dan Mural, he has been like updating and doing videos on the strikes and what's been going on with that. And he made such a good point that I feel like very strongly, which is, listen, WGA and the producers, stop putting out statements and talking about and pointing fingers and grandstanding. You need to sit down and you need to talk and you need to figure this out. Like, be adults, make it work. That's how I feel now. Like, and I'm not even on the picket lines. Like, this isn't even directly affecting my life. So you can imagine the people who are desperately struggling at this point. Like, in the beginning, it was very much like people were donating and things were moving. Like, you know, there was some coverage for people who weren't working. Now, the way that these strikes have been dragging on for months, it's getting worse. Like, people are really having a hard time. There needs to be someone to make these people talk. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you hurt my pride or you spoke to the press. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, you guys need to figure it out, like, now.
And I think the studios have used the media a lot more than the writers and actors, because the writers and actors don't really have access to it, same way the studios do.
True, but they do have social media, which is actually more direct to people. And there was a vote that said that most people back the strikes. Like, there was a news story that came out, I think, last week about that I think it was like 90 or something amount of people completely agree with what the unions are doing. So it's not even like, we all know that the producers are the bad guys. Like, we're not under any delusion that that's not true. Like, we all aware. What's the point of the negotiations if you're not going to negotiate? You know what I'm saying?
Remember how last week we spoke about how circuit courts have said AI can't be copyrighted. That meeting only happened because they were like, oh shit, we want to use AI, but we can't. So the main point of the meeting, that they wanted the writers, at least one writer, to be able to rewrite what the AI did so they can then copyright it. That was really the only reason why the producers met with the writers, is so they can still get their AI shit, but somehow circumvent it by having the writers agree to, like, at least one writer or two writers rewrite the AI shit so we can still copyright it. Ignoring that's literally what they're striking for.
We're too deep in this hole for us to not be communicating. And the guy was saying, like, even if they're just like shouting at each other for 12 hours a day, like, at least something's happening. And I'm like, I agree with that.
Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast, because the 16mm Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.